the spiritual meanings of the coronavirus. The core spiritual meaning of the coronavirus is to acknowledge the buildup of mass negativity and false belief systems. This flu virus, the coronavirus, is different. It started in Wuhan. Did I pronounce that right? Wuhan, China, and grew like a tsunami. The incredible increase in flu cases and deaths is astonishing. It's like no other flu epidemic. As this flu virus, as this flu virus spreads, it will cause forced change in everyone's world. Not having a vaccine for many months to come, it will radically restrict people's lifestyles. The biggest change will be where you can go. All right. So we decided, the guides came through, and like I said, we always ask the guides, what's the most important thing for you to know right now? And this is what they decided to talk about. We don't hide from any of this. We let you know what's going on without the fear. It's not about being in fear here. It's about being aware. It's about understanding not what the symptoms are, but what the causes of something like this is. Why does something like this need to come about in our world? What is it that guidance is trying to get through to us and make us understand? Where are we missing it? Okay, Ray, what do you have?
Well,
and who do we have? Who do we have with us
they
tonight?
Were just knocking down the doors like
like
a Who concert.
Like a Who? Okay, who's with us tonight?
Jay, Handy, Kimberly, Mary Elizabeth, Lori, and there's some more coming in.
Okay, so we're going to have quite a crowd tonight because of this. We've had a lot of emails on it today, a lot of action on it. So this is not meant to put you into fear. This is meant to raise your consciousness, all right? Fear is lowering your consciousness. That is not what this is about, all right? But this is going to be a big event this year. This is going to be one of the biggest ones. So we want to hear your questions. We want to hear what you have to say. And many of you, and I've had many of you contact me through email and sign up for coaching sessions today so that you know how to go about navigating this in your own life. That's a personal matter. Some of you have investments in the stock market and you're concerned about that. Some of you have children in school and you're concerned about that. Some of you go to work every day and you're exposed to these people. You're concerned about that. How do you deal with all this? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That's what the spirit guides are going to talk with you about, all right? Right, what do we have?
Well, we had some comments this morning.
Let's talk about the comments. There were 2 people that left comments on this post today.
That's right.
So we're going to cover those first, okay? Whenever you guys leave comments on these posts for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, we always bring them up in the session so we can talk about those first. You guys come first. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
All right. We got 2 of them. One's from Viola, and she's not with us tonight, but she's probably sleeping.
She's in Europe.
She's in the Netherlands. Yeah. All right. Viola says, I was wondering 2 weeks ago whether Linda would post about the coronavirus. And
of course.
Here it is.
Like I said, the guides, they don't hide. They help you guys. They're here to help you.
I certainly hold false beliefs, mostly about myself, and I'm looking forward to changing them. But why are we holding on to these false beliefs? How can we release or change them? Thanks, Linda and Ray. And Linda said, good point, Viola. Don't miss the discussion tonight at my live event, 6 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook.
We're going to be talking about that. We'll go deeper into the people. Okay, there's the people, the no people, and the yes people, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So Viola, stay tuned. We're going to cover that.
And then Teresa Diaz had a comment also. Hi, Linda. I read your weekly guided insight with much interest today. The coronavirus epidemic has especially come to mind with an upcoming trip to New York City. She has to plan to see her dad for the first time in 5 years. He's 84, and I'm traveling from Colorado in May and taking him to the opera.
Okay, two things going on here. Let me interrupt you for a minute.
Sure.
Two things. She's got an elderly father. Exposure to something like this is greater with people who are older.
Right.
Okay, taking him to the opera, you know what? What month?
May.
May. That opera may not have anybody there. Okay.
They may be the only ones.
They would not, they would cancel the opera if there's only a trickle of people coming in because they can't afford to produce it under those conditions. So it's not even about should I go or can't, or do you think I should go? You may not even be able to go. Events are being canceled around the world right now in mass.
There's
Okay.
a lot of flights canceled. You may
A
not
lot.
be able to fly from Colorado to New York City.
I know.
You know, New York City and all those airports right around New York City is where they're doing some of the toughest screening for people coming in from everywhere.
Because it's an international
Right,
port.
several of them right in one area.
Right.
Okay, now on the other hand, he had his spleen unexpectedly removed during a gastrosurgery last October. I myself haven't been sick since 2009. That's great. I take Alj. You take Alj. And currently receiving scalar energy treatments for the next 4 months. I decided to invest in that largely because of the upcoming trip. I plan to chat with my dad and my stepmom and make sure they really want to risk it. My guess is that they don't fall into the yes camp mentioned in your post, although they both certainly have a joie de vivre. That's a lust for life. That's French. Somewhat ironically, on a side note, as one of my great-grandmothers died in the Spanish flu pandemic right there in New York City. Thanks as always to you and the guides for the insights that you share. And Linda said, this strain of the coronavirus is causing massive disruptions in the travel and the hospitality industries. Everyone's situation is different. That's what even complicates it more. This is where your guides shine. You have help, you must ask. Join me tonight and get more information.
Right. So again, we're going to talk about the people who are the, and how did I word this? The people that are the no's and the people that are the yeses. I'm going to get into this, all right? So it's a different mentality. It's a different perspective on the same thing, okay? So, Ray, do we have any questions so far?
Not yet. And
Okay.
who else joined us? Stacy. Stacy says, howdy from Texas. Howdy, darling.
What's good about America is we have a heads up on what's coming our way. And it is coming our way, you guys. So it's a good time to get, positioned for this, prepared for this. And how do you do that? Ray, what do you have?
Jay Handy joined us. Being a student of the stock market, buying opportunities or escape to all cash. If cash, for how long?
Okay, let's let the guides talk to you about this, Jay. This is Jay is he's in the real world, you guys.
Financial advisors.
Yeah, and we're just going to let the guides talk. They're not going to get into this down and dirty with you, Jay, but they're going to cover just enough so you can get a feel for it. Ray, let's go.
Hello, Jay. It's always the same story. The market falls due to an excuse that's made up or happens to appear, and they blame it. Now,
They blame it.
they blame anything that's happening at the time for the market going up or down.
Right.
you then hear that when the market makes a correction, it's a great time to buy. However, if you had followed that yesterday, you would be sorry today. It looks to us like there's more of a correction coming.
And that just speaks to the fact that this is the real thing. This is going to cause this is causing disruptions in the markets. It's causing disruptions in the hospitality business, in travel, in the airlines went down, what, 15% today?
Yeah, I saw a report today that said shipments from China of smartphones were down 10%. That's what they're saying now. For the first quarter, they're going to be down 10%. But when you look at 10% is 275 million smartphones, that's a lot.
Right, and that's just the start. So, you know, the factories in China have been affected, and it shows us how much we have been dependent on Chinese goods, you know, whether they're making parts or whatever, you know.
Yeah, the parts.
We become dependent on it, and we're going to feel it, you guys. So, you know, it depends on your situation. Everybody has a different situation. We're getting a lot more coaching sessions coming in about people that want to know exactly how they prepare for this coming thing. Okay, this epidemic, this pandemic is really what it is. So, and that I can tell you by what we've been doing, the coaching sessions, it's going to go on longer than you think. All right?
Yeah, it's...
If you need to know, if you need to get in there and really know how to handle this for yourself, book a coaching session with me. It's in the description of the video. Don't be shy.
Yeah, everybody's situation is different.
It's different.
Like Jay's in the market,
right.
Other people are worried about.
And so covering these things, right? Covering these things in this session today, we're going to cover things, but it won't be specific to each individual. Okay, so I don't want you guys disappointed. I want you to know that it's generally what they're going to be talking about, but to you specifically, they get really, really specific with you because they've been with you all the time. Your guides know what's going on with you, and they know just exactly how this affects you and how this relates to your life. Okay, in exactly which way. All right, go ahead, Ray.
Not a lot of questions, but some interesting comments that mostly focus on health. Linda Schwartz is with us. Hi, Linda. It would seem that your goal should be to build up your immune system. All right. And then Kimberly says her guides are always saying that raising your vibration is the best way to avoid viruses. And the higher the vibration you hold, the healthier you are.
Right. And don't forget exposure, okay, to outside, you know, people and stuff like that that's going to be the next thing that happens. It's going to affect all of us. What did they say here? The one thing let me just say this one thing, Ray, and I want to hear what you were going to see there. The thing they said is the biggest change will be where you can go. Let's rephrase that. The biggest change is going to be where you can't go. Okay, so it's really about keeping your exposure down, all right? But she's right. You keep your immune system up. You get rest. You eat the right food. And you know, another part of this that they talked about here, and I want to grab this, is the most obvious proof that the mass negativity is affecting you is when you feel stress.
Right.
So when you feel stress, what do I do when I feel stress? Ray and I have a lot that we do, and you know, the stress sometimes hits us. Me, the way I deal with stress, I get a workout in. I get a physical workout in, right here where I work. While I'm working, I'm capturing my emails, I'm working with people, I'm talking to them, I'm answering their questions, and I'm getting a workout in. So I've got a nice balance between these two things. You guys need to incorporate that. You need to balance out your life. It's not just about doing one thing all the time. That will burn you out. You've got to find a balance so that you stay steady and strong, all right?
Okay, the rest of the comments from Linda, they're mostly about health. Stephanie's with us, Stephanie McGillivray.
Great,
She
Stephanie.
says, true, it's been found you could use essential oils to build up your immune system.
That's right.
And then Linda says, focus on yourself. So you're basically isolating yourself. No big deal if you pay attention.
Linda's done that.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Don't travel.
Linda is Linda talking?
Linda Schwartz.
Yeah. Linda has already, see, what happens here is Linda has already mastered her time alone, her isolation. She's been pretty isolated. She's been living, you know, outside of the U.S. and she's learned how to be by herself. All right. So the more that you've learned how to just not be running around all the time, need to go out to the movies and go, you know, to a sporting event, and
yeah.
That's going to be where vulnerability really spikes. Okay. You guys need to slow down, and cut that stuff out. You know, watch a movie on Netflix, or, you know, make dinner for a change instead of going out to eat all the time. You know, these kind of things you're gonna see a massive change in all this, in behavior from this, and it's a good thing. Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning and get some definitions here.
Okay.
Labeled.
Go ahead.
The most obvious proof of the mass negativity, because the coronavirus is a response to the buildup of mass negativity and false belief systems in the world.
True.
That's not just this one, but all flu viruses.
True.
Okay?
Right.
So,
this just happens to be something that's more radical.
right.
Really getting our attention. Okay.
So it's a response to mass negativity and false beliefs, which lead to fear, and this becomes the root of the problem. Now, when you look at flu viruses, they are upper respiratory diseases, okay? And spiritually, it's a response to your inability to fully breathe, breathe in your life. Right. The pollution, okay, from the mass negativity that people...
Polluted environment.
Polluted, right. Weakens your immune system.
Right.
So when you weaken your immune system, like you've said many times before, that's what prevents the guides from coming in. It's a weakened immune system causes stress. And when you have stress and fear, they can't communicate.
Right. They can't reach you.
Right. So what's interesting to me, I think, that this influence of all this mass negativity around you all the time, to some people, seems normal. They've been the longer you're exposed to it, the worse it gets, the lower your immunity goes down.
Okay, I'm going to take over.
There you go.
So, have things really gotten that bad? The coronavirus. If your answer is yes, you are part of the solution. You will choose to immerse yourself into the things that let your soul sing. So whatever makes you feel amazing. All right. If your answer is no, then negative attitudes and beliefs feel normal to you. It's like you assume it, okay? The yes responders have suffered for decades from the pressure of increasing negativity. The no responders like the things the way they are and don't see the growing negativity as a problem. Okay, so there's two camps here. This is what we were talking about earlier with the comments that were left, the two comments. This is the two camps. So you have to take a look at the camp that you're in. Are you the no responder or are you the yes responder? Which camp are you in? which one feels more comfortable to you? Do you sit back and just go, I'm going to do what I please. I'll do what I want. Okay? Well, that won't get you very far when things get hairy and when things really become a pandemic in this country. And it's going to happen, you guys. It's only, I don't know how far it is out, a couple months at the most before it really becomes a problem in America, before it reaches American shores, all right? By then, the people that are the no responders will probably have a little bit different approach to it. They might be a little bit less like this and a little bit maybe more like this. All right. But the yes responders are already like this. They're already aware of it. They understand the spiritual meaning of something like this. They know that it's trying to tell us something as a human race, to cut it out. Okay, what is that? The mass negativity and the false beliefs.
Right.
What are those things? And when you start to ask yourself what those are, you start putting yourself through those 4 qualifying questions in part 3 of My Guided Journey. Write down what you think it might be and how it feels and what you realize and the changes you're going to make, the action you're going to take. You can find it. You can find it if you sit down, calm down, and ask yourself these questions. You'll find the answer. Go ahead, Ray.
You know, there's things you can do, like Linda mentioned and a couple other people mentioned,
Right,
to do to build up your immunity. But you're constantly, your immunity's always constantly being worn down by the negative influences, like ads, like fear, like being out among other people. To put it in perspective, last year, 50 million people got the regular flu. 50 million.
right. That's how people justify this. They go, a lot more people got the regular flu. This is not a
Yeah,
problem.
like 20 million of them had to be
That's how they're
hospitalized,
that's what the no people are doing with this right now.
and 12 million died.
Right.
You
Nope.
know, a
Yeah,
lot.
happens every year.
Every year, like clockwork. Okay, this is different because it's a new strain. There's no vaccine. So Linda has the right idea. It's disruption of your lifestyle, of the things you like to do that you thought were normal. Go to the movies, go to shopping, go here, go there, go to restaurants. Now, this disruption,
It's going to disrupt where you can go, just like they said in
exactly.
this session. It's going to affect where you can go.
So spiritually, you have to think that you have to tell yourself, the self-talk of the isolation is that you're going to keep yourself beyond the grasp of the false group beliefs. You take yourself out of the crowds. You take yourself, and we're not talking about being lonely, but we're talking about being alone. You take yourself
And
away
what-
from the
Okay,
source.
I'm going to interrupt this. Why is it forcing you to isolate, to be alone more than you have been in the past? Why is it sending you that message? Your guides have been asking you to slow your life down, calm down, so you can hear what they're communicating to you. To do that, you have to slow down. You have to spend some time alone. And that's what this is reinforcing. That is what this is basically amplifying. Okay?
So when you are alone and you're focused on,
I'm going to let Ray talk for a minute. I've got to do something. Hold on. Go ahead, Ray.
when you are alone and you're focusing on your aloneness and quarantining yourself from the outside world so your immune system is not being worn down every day, you can tell yourself things like, I'm an individual and I'm capable of formulating my own opinions about things rather than caving into mass negativity and fear. Once you can do this, you're on the road to restoring your immune system just by the fact that you're doing this. You know what else I found out very interesting when I did a lot of this research was influence, this negative influence from being in crowds, which you think is normal, but you pick up on the energy of everybody. You be in a football stadium, you have 50,000 people there. You're picking up on their energy. So there's a mass intrusion of their energy upon you.
That is true.
So if it's negative, which most people's thoughts are, what happens is this influence, okay, you look at the word influence, that sounds just like influenza.
It's contagious.
Right.
That's basically what racism.
They're both contagious.
They're contagious. It's contagious.
The negative influence and influenza.
You start to see what this is, you guys. You start to be able to, when you go out somewhere, you start to become more sensitive to what's really going on, especially when you have this time alone. You pick up on this stuff better. You pick up on it quicker. You realize how you used to be in it all full throttle all the time, and now you pulled back. You're going to pull back. It's going to make you pull back. This is over the next several months. You're going to pull back, and that's when you go back out. You're going to feel this difference and go, "Wow, I never would have noticed this if this hadn't happened, and I hadn't pulled back so I could see it like this instead of being in it all the time." All right? And that's, again, where you start to write in part 3 of My Guided Journey what you are realizing, what you are acknowledging, what you're finally able to connect with. And it doesn't mean it's good or bad or anything like that. It's more disruptive than it is anything else. It's not judging anybody. It's, wow, was I off track? Wow, no wonder I felt so uptight, so nervous. No wonder I had trouble sleeping at night. No wonder you'll start to realize why you were having issues, problems, health problems, or whatever. All right.
Here's an interesting
It's going to bring that to light. You guys are going to see things you didn't see before. Okay, go ahead.
The flu, all kinds of flus, including, they're all viruses, and some of them are there's a lot of different coronaviruses.
There are.
And they're transmitted from person to person. Somebody coughing or sneezing, or you're in a group, or you're standing at the pharmacy waiting to get some pills for something else, and everybody's coughing and sneezing.
Don't stand in that line.
No.
Oh my God.
People who are isolated and alone, they don't get the flu. If you're living on a deserted island by yourself, you wouldn't get the flu.
There is no flu.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something worth taking a look at. You need to break it down in your own life and examine what that is, so you know how to forge forward in your life. Okay. If you can't figure that out, I'm here for you. I can help you with this. All right. It'd be private, because everybody's different, you guys. No one person, no answer is right for every person. It's unique to each one of you. Your guides know you. They see what you're doing all the time. They're trying to get through to you, you know? So that's really what this is about. It's about pulling back enough. If you can do this for yourself, you can pull back enough and slow down your life so you can begin to examine what's going on, right? And start tracking what's going on and inquire within yourself what is happening. This is what you need to do, all right?
Okay, so Denise has a great comment. I mean, she gets it. Denise,
you all get it.
She says, doesn't it seem crazy that there's now an annual increase, an annual acceptance of these deaths from what were simple flus or colds?
And it's true.
It goes up every year. Now, these are becoming epidemics or pandemics. The more negativity in the world feeds the bad to seriously affecting everyone. It's like a domino effect. Yeah, more negativity, more flus.
Okay, let me do something. Let me take the coronavirus off the table. It's not there, okay? So what about the negativity in the world? It's still there. The negativity is greater than it was a year ago, and a year before that, and 10 years before that. Why? what happened? What's going on? Okay, this is just it's a call for help. It's a warning sign. It's letting you know, bong, bong, bong. It's time to get it, humanity. Cut this stuff out. Back off. Slow down. Listen. It's telling you to pay attention so that you can get your, I'm going to say it, you can get your humanity back. You can get your values back. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think we should maybe take a look at the response from the people who kind of poo-poo it. You know, oh no, I'm never going to get it.
They're,
they're
the no people.
I haven't had the flu, and you know.
I'll take my chances.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not afraid. I'm not changing my life.
Right. I'm not going to be inconvenienced or disrupted.
Okay, come back. Come over here. That gets to me. All right. Okay, I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm not having it. Okay, how long is that gonna go on before they start to trade sides and start going, oh, okay, here they go.
We see a lot more people who don't seem to be so concerned about what's happening. There's a growing camp of people who see that their health is the critical way you combat diseases. It's eating right, taking the right supplements, and not being places where a lot of the sick people gather. However, the large group who says they're not worried really are worried in the back of their mind that, what if I do get it? They have trouble imagining their lifestyle being disrupted. They see their friends are just like them, not worried. And the problem is you can't see it when you are in it. And the longer you are in it, the harder it is to see how to avoid it.
And so what do they do? What do people do?
The forced isolation, if it comes to that, will make them look at themselves and their choices and decisions they've made that got them to where they are. Perhaps they will realize that it was the mass negativity and negative group energy that creates the environment for diseases like the coronavirus to take over.
And get our attention.
Yeah, it's to get their attention.
That's really what it all is, you guys. It's just about, does it take something like this to really do this? Really? You know, if we're doing our work, if we're doing the work, if we're checking in with ourselves once a day, the guides ask you to check in with yourself once a day for 15 minutes. Part 3, write in there what was unusual or out of the ordinary for that day, okay? And examine how that made you feel and realize so that you can take an action. but it's usually the action where you get choked up. You can write it down, feel it, and realize it, but to take that action is the hardest part. And that's where your guides really help you with this. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, a lot of agreement here. Denise says it's much easier to be negative than to be positive and be a leader. It's sad. That's a sad situation. Why is it so easy to be negative? Because all the people you're hanging around with are negative.
Unfortunately, most people have become negative now. Cynical, negative, pissed off.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's the whole thing. It's a big domino effect. All right.
Exactly.
And it's been going on for years now, for decades now. And you know what? Something like this comes along to rattle society, to get us to see what this is, to stop this, to stop us, to pull us out of the game of distractions, going here, going there, this trip, this vacation, going to dinner, going to this event, that sporting event. That it's always something we're doing to keep us from seeing ourselves, all right, and being human. Being human, you guys, being compassionate, taking care of each other, looking out for each other. When's the last time somebody looked out for you? That somebody you didn't even know actually stepped in and looked out for you, helped you when you needed it. I mean, it's rare. How did that happen? I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in a time when I was a kid when there was still a connection, when people would still, if you were hurt, somebody would stop and help you.
Yeah.
Why is that so rare now? What happened? So if something like this comes along, it's deliberate. It's designed to get our attention. Wake up call. Warning.
Yeah,
we can do better. So that's what this really is. This, take care of yourself. But, and you can't go out taking care of everybody else when we're in a situation like this, as it's moving into this situation. It's going to move us into a situation, you guys, where you're going to have to pull back. And when you pull back, it's not meant to hurt you. It's meant to help you get real with yourself, connect with yourself, and, and stop the negativity. And the false beliefs. Stop the negativity and the false beliefs. I'm going to keep saying that because that's all it is. If you can bring yourself to a point where you catch yourself and you honestly say what it is to yourself, tell on yourself, expose it in yourself, only then can you heal it. You cannot heal it when you don't see it. You got to see it on the pages. All right.
Well said. You got a lot of hearts and things on.
Yeah, this is so important, and this is the message. If you guys catch the message, we're here in this lifetime to learn, and we can do this. We learn. It's like the 100th monkey. If enough of the few of us really get this, it's like the 100th monkey. The rest of them will just get it, and this suffering can stop.
That's right.
What kind of questions do we have, you guys?
No questions. We have. It's all comments. Ironically, healing comes from, a different aspect of the world. Certainly not the drugs they sell you on every other commercial.
No. There's no quick fix for this. This is about getting real with yourself.
Yeah, and the other comments are about. We become complicated and say it will never happen to us. And that's why I'm stepping out of the way. Oh, it won't happen to me.
Or thinking you can move away from it. A lot of people think, well, I'll just go move down to Central America. I'll move to Panama. I'll move away from it. No, you know what? There's no place to go. There's no place to move to. It's everywhere, you guys. Yeah. It's time to get this right.
It'll catch up to you.
There's no running away from any of it, all right?
Here's a good example. When I lived in Texas, I had bad allergies because Austin has a lot of allergies, okay?
Yeah.
I don't get sick, but I have seasonal allergies depending on where I lived in the country. So I did everything. I tried antihistamines, acupuncture, and you know what cured me of my allergies? I moved to Sedona.
He moved to Arizona.
Right, but
Sedona was hard on allergies. Well, Phoenix is hard on allergies.
I didn't have, but not see it's comparative.
Yeah.
You're talking about things following you. Yeah, it found out that I moved to Sedona, and I didn't have allergies for years, but then I started to get them. And then we moved down here to Phoenix, and now we have allergies. Of course, we live around a lot of trees, but
yeah,
it's not all desert.
But if you moved back to Texas where you lived,
it would be terrible.
You'd have a really bad case of it now. He doesn't know because he's been away for 16 years. You don't know until you get away from it, you guys. It's the same thing with negative energy. You get away from people who have negative energy. You get away from relatives and so-called friends who have negative energy. When you isolate, when you pull back and you are spending more time alone, you're going to know, especially when you keep up your journal writing. This journal is amazing. It's the companion journal to my flagship book, Guided. All right. I wrote this for you guys that read Guided, that Guided really connected with you, and you wanted to learn how to do this, okay, and pull through this and make this connection. That's how you do this. This opportunity that's beginning, it's like something that's showing up on our shores, just at the brink of showing up on our shores right here in America, that it's going to give you, I don't want you guys to look at this as a negative event. I want you to look at it as an opportunity to finally catch your second wind, slow down, spend some time alone, the time you've been asking for. When you said to yourself, if only I had some time alone, if only I didn't have to run around and do all this stuff, and I could get some time alone. That's what this is going to give you. You're going to get that time alone, all right? Not meant to hurt you. It's meant to save you, all right? So you guys can get this right, and then as an example, other people see this, and they go, oh, now I see, by example.
Okay, Mary Elizabeth has comments. She met a woman recently who said that she is allergic to all kinds of antibiotics, and that if she's sick, there's nothing she can do, nothing she can take.
You mean Mary Elizabeth?
She met some woman who said that to her.
That told her that?
That told her that she was, not Mary Elizabeth, but the woman was allergic to all antibiotics, so if she gets sick, there's really nothing she can take. And Mary couldn't believe it. Why is this thinking? Why is this so? Why do people think? She told me that it wasn't always that way, but it got worse over time. Yeah, well, the antibiotics quit working over time because the strains became used to them. That's some antibiotics, penicillin or whatever, they don't work on the things that they were designed to work on when they first came out. It's not that the drug got weaker, it's that the strain of the virus
got stronger.
Okay. That's why there's no vaccine for this coronavirus yet.
Yeah, right.
But there is, vaccine for the flu. Everybody's supposed to get a flu shot. Well, like 50 million people got the flu last year.
So what's her question?
37% of them got a flu shot. There wasn't any question. It's just that, why is this so? And the strains get stronger, and they have to come out with a new vaccine all day. But there's nothing she can do. I mean, there's plenty of natural things you can do that are antibiotics. They have the same properties.
Okay, so what Ray's talking about is chasing the symptom.
Right.
Okay, what this session is about, the spiritual meanings of the coronavirus, it's not about the symptom. It's about the cure.
Right.
The cure is getting it right. The cure is in the message. It's in the warning. It's in, it's in the fact that it's negative. It's a product of negative thinking and what was the negative thinking, mass negativity, and false belief systems. It's happened over decades. It took decades for humanity to take those two things this far. That something like the coronavirus, which is turning into a pandemic, shows up in our world. Is it really that bad? And I talk about that at the end in how it works. So have things really gotten that bad? Yes, they've gotten that bad. Imagine that they've gotten that bad. If you sit back and you take and spend some time out, okay, remember when you were a little kid in school, time out, and you have a chance to catch your breath and observe what's going on and not be a party to it, not be in there fighting those battles, okay, but see it for what it is. You're going to see this has been happening for decades to get it to this point. All right. Have you guys really liked living in the world the way it is? Has it felt friendly to you? Has it felt like something that makes you feel like actually that you want to be here? I mean, really, how much more can we do to make this an uncomfortable place than we've already done? I'm talking to humanity here. I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on me. I'm talking to humanity here. That's the whole point in something like this coming into play, to get our attention. That's the whole point here. Let's let the guides talk about this for a minute. I'm going to get off the hot seat and let the guides take it from here. And here they go.
It's not what you take to combat a symptom.
Right.
It's removing yourself from the cause.
Right.
If all the negativity comes from your family, get away from them.
Right.
If your job is the source of your stress, you must quit. You can never get well or avoid symptoms until you identify the cause and remove it from your life.
Right. That's right. And at the beginning of this, somewhere around the beginning of this insight, they talked about, let me get to that. Okay, the most obvious proof that the mass negativity is affecting you is when you feel stress.
Right.
When you feel the stress, you guys, that's a huge red flag. All right. This is not something where you felt the stress and you go, oh God, I feel the stress. I got to go back and drag myself back into that situation because I need the money, because because my family, what they'll think of me or what my friends will think of me or something. There's always some reason why you bought into it, why you compromised your life away into sickness, okay, is what this ultimately turns into. That's the big message here. And you guys have to cut that out. The minute you catch yourself doing it, part 3, write down what has stressed you out. Write it down. Be bold about this. Write it down, how it made you feel, and then what you realize. So you can begin to take some action in that direction. Because it's not only is it hurting you now, but it's really going to have an effect on your life, on you, on your health, to finally get your attention. That's what this is about. This is not meant to hurt us. It's meant to get our attention. So we stop the things that are not good for us. That when we go, here's the worst part of stress. When we go through the stress, guess what we do? We react. We attack other people. We're short with other people. We're stressful with other people. It's like a ripple effect. We blow the stress off onto everyone around us. And that's what's happened. That's the world we're in. It's a great big stress monster is what we've created. Did you know it was that bad? Did you guys know, and in the last part where it says how it works, So have things really gotten that bad? Did you know it? Yes, you did. All of you know it. Every single one of you knew it. You felt it building. You feel where people don't support you, where it gets stressful, and you have to drag yourself through it another day. You don't have to do that. It's telling you that you can't get away with doing that. That's what this is about. We've got some people commenting to us there, Ray.
Okay, let's see. Denise says it could be so simple just to focus and spread positivity vibration. It may keep this from spreading. I think our guides are trying to stress to us, no pun intended, to focus on ourselves being stronger and then proceed to help the other people. Put your own mask on first, right? Before you can help others. Put your oxygen mask on first. Stephanie says colloidal silver, antimicrobial, antibiotic.
That stuff's great.
Doesn't kill viruses.
But it builds your immune system.
Antibiotics don't kill viruses.
Right.
Also, Immutol can shift the immune system to be more intraviral. Yeah, there's a lot of things that will kill viruses that are natural that you probably have in your kitchen.
And every time you take those, and you consume those, you also want to add the antidote of not being negative. And if you feel yourself moving into negativity or anger or whatever stress, whatever, purge it out on the pages so that you get it out of here, and it works against you. Lay it down on the pages so that then you could go back and re-examine them and go, oh yeah, it's out here. It's not here anymore. Okay. And so when you encounter people or something on the phone or whatever you're doing, you don't react. You're acting out. You're not reacting. You're not attacking. You're not a stress monster. You've got this handled right here. You've done your inner work. 15 minutes a day, you guys. That's it. That's all the guides ask you to do. In a matter of 1 month, if you just do this for 1 month every day, you are going to feel different. You're going to feel different because you know how you're going to know you're different from the month before? The stress won't be ruling your life, and you will be able to, as a result of that stress not being a part of your life, you will be able to be present. It's as simple as that. You can think clearer. You can receive the guidance. You've slowed down. Everybody's moving too fast, you guys. Yeah. It's not a shortcut. It's shortchanging us. It's not a shortcut.
Yeah, people have this due to the ads that they're bombarded with from the drug companies day in, day out on TV and every place else. That's, modern medicine. Well, that's not modern medicine, and they call everything else alternative medicine. No, all the things that they call alternative used to be the original medicine thousands and thousands of years ago.
It was the only medicine.
Right.
It worked.
It's like, you got some pain, well, you can take bare aspirin, or you can take white willow bark, which is what bare aspirin is made out of, but without the salicylates that are bad for you. Same pain-killing potencies. There's all kinds, she mentioned colloidal silver. We take colloidal silver. Onions, you know how much I love onions. Garlic.
Healthy food.
Healthy stuff. Grapefruit seed extract.
And cut out the stress.
Cut the stress out.
If you're feeling stress, it's because you're overextended. Okay? I don't mean always financially overextended. I mean just overextended with obligations and what you think people demand of you. All right. Just stuff that you've let yourself be pushed back in a corner to feel like you weren't good enough. That type of thing. So it's a lot of stress, is self-created stress. Some of it's financial stress. Get rid of those bills. cut out your expenses. Sell that car, sell that house, whatever it is. Cut it out. Get rid of it. Offload it. Ray and I did this. We did this. It took us about 7 years to offload all the external stress that was controlling our lives, and we finally got out from underneath it. Now when this stuff happens, it happens out there. It doesn't happen to us anymore. Okay? So it took us years to pull this off and to acclimate to it. The things that are going to be required of you going forward, we've acclimated to it years ago. We're fine with it. So we know what the process is like to realize it, to deal with it, and then to acclimate to it. Okay? And you know what we found out? We found out that we like each other more than we thought we did. We found out that we can trust each other a lot more than we ever imagined, because we were both married twice before, and we could never trust those mates like we can trust each other.
You know, once you find out,
that's what happens when you slow down. You find out if you're in the right situation, if you're doing the right things, and if stress is ruling your life, and how to cut it out.
You know, people have the wrong, they look at being overextended financially. They say, I need to make more money to pay my bills. No, you need less bills.
You're chasing it.
Yeah, well, what happens when you first realize that you don't need 2 homes and 5 cars, okay, and you sell those, and you keep 1 car and 1 small place to live, that now you get to sell all the stuff that was in those houses. And once it's all gone, you don't have to pay for that stuff anymore. You don't have to insure it, fix it, pay taxes on it.
Once you pull out of it, you guys, you start to see the trap that you were in.
Right. Okay.
But you know how I said you cannot see it when you're in it. All you do, you feel like you've got your head down to the grindstone, and you just keep plowing through it, plowing through it. It felt like that for years for us. And we finally got through it. At one point, we were able to lift our heads and go, wow, was that a big job? But we're so glad we did it, because now we've got our focus on the right things, the things we love, the things we do matter. Okay, right. So that's what it comes down to, you guys. I'm telling you, most of you have never lived a life that matters, not one that really matters. Okay, that calls you, that identifies you, that is who you are. Okay, that's why you're here. You're here to live the life you intended, the one you planned before you got here. You want to get to that point. Something like this coronavirus, pandemic, which is what it's turning into, is designed to get you to stop and reassess.
Yeah.
Get your life back. Not take your life. No way. Get it back.
All that stuff took your life.
It's bringing attention to it. Stop. That's what it's really meant to do.
It's once you find out that you don't need the stuff, and it's hard to make a decision because all your friends are doing the same thing you're doing. They're chasing the same things. They're buying the new cars and going on vacations and buying new furniture.
Well, they're not going to be doing that.
Right.
In an instant, in a matter of a couple of weeks, everyone's going, oh man, it feels like a game changer. Yeah, it's a game changer, you guys. You haven't seen what a game changer this is going to be, but it's underway. So rather than fighting it and getting fearful and stressed out about it, no, use it as a guideline to show you where you need a course correction or 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, use your journal, My Guided Journey, in part 3 to see what that is. Use it for 15 minutes a day to put your journal entries in and write down what's going on with you. Tell the truth to yourself.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
You will see it, all right? It won't be hard. This is not hard. Don't make this hard. And there's not some little pill you can take to say, oh, that's going to fix me. No, it's a bigger issue than that. This is not about finding the symptom and going, oh, the symptom, coronavirus. No, it's about finding the cure. The cure is about cutting out the negativity and the false beliefs that stress you out. And the big red flag is going to be stress. The minute you feel that stress, get your journal out, report back to yourself, put that journal entry in, and break it down so that you can begin to see what it is in your life that's taking you down the wrong road, that the coronavirus is just a call to action for you guys to start to see where your life has gone off track and where to get it back. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to talk about, do we have any other questions there?
No, we don't.
You guys were great tonight. This was
Fabulous group.
awesome. You guys are always great. I'm going to talk about next week. And then we're going to do our closing message with the guides on this, okay? Next Tuesday, March 3rd, join me right here on my Facebook page, Linda Deir, author. This will be a Q&A and commentary, just like tonight, with me and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will emphasize that you have help. People need help just to continue living in this world without pain and struggle. Like Linda, the first time you experience the benefits of receiving our help, your life will be changed forever. The fears that used to control you will be gone because you are connected to a higher intelligence that you will realize you are a part of, and that this is your guidance that's always coming through. It's now been over 6 decades since we first showed up for Linda, and we are still here for her. What this shows you is that we were always there. She only had to ask for our help. We are always still here for her all these years later, and she knows it, and I do. I know that this works. I know how this works. I can put you in touch with your guidance and clear up a whole host of things to get you guys on the right track, all right, at any point along the way. So you guys have to know that I'm here for you. I'm here to get you to right to the point, the conversation you have with your guides, that intimate conversation, where if you need help as far as navigating where we are right now in the history of humanity, where we are right now, you guys are here to be a part of the solution, all right? You guys are. And if you need to know what that is, book a session with me, a coaching session. It's in the description of the video. Click on the link and book it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of coaching sessions right now so people can get moving in the right direction, not through fear, but through their own personal power, knowing that they're getting the guidance, knowing where they need to move right now to get this thing right in their own life, all right? Okay, just like Ray says, you can't help someone else. You cannot assist somebody else, your kids, your family, whoever, until you have done the healing for yourself, until you figured it out for yourself. You've got to put the oxygen mask on first. Okay.
That's
all
right. Well said.
So we're going to do the closing message for tonight about the spiritual meanings of the coronavirus. And here they go.
We hope that you now understand how you get sick. If you allow the stress into your life, it causes dis-ease in your body. Then sickness follows. If you get away from the stress,
the things that are causing the stress,
you can see yourself as a different person. a relaxed person who relaxes into life and is able to breathe it in like you came here to. Good influencers equal a stress-free life. Bad influencers equal influenza.
See the metaphors? You know, it's right in our faces. It's never hidden from us. It's right in plain sight. This doesn't need to affect you. Not at all. Make the choice. Make the choice not to live in stress. Use your journal. Use your journal. My Guided Journey, Part 3. Use your journal to identify when the stress shows up, because you're going to see it sometimes. Write it in there and inquire within yourself about how it made you feel, what you realized, and what action you hope to take. If you get stuck on taking the action part, I can help you with that. That's where the coaching session will move you through it. Okay? Don't get stuck there. Okay? This is time for you to get your life back. Coronavirus, whatever virus, blah, 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 pandemic, blah. Okay? It's meant to get your life back on track. Maybe for the first time ever. That's what this is designed to do. So this is the high road for you, not the low road.
That's right.
You guys, I will see you, Ray and I will see you next Tuesday.
March already. But do you know what happens between now, tonight, and next Tuesday, March?
No?
February 28th.
Oh my gosh.
February 28th.
We met 16 years ago on February 28th, and it was a leap year, just like this year.
Right.
This year's a leap year, meaning there's going to be 29 days in February. Every 4 years that happens.
Yeah.
So we could have just as likely met on the next day, right?
29th.
And then we could
only had an anniversary every 4 years. But the story is in Guided, right? You know, Part 4, where you meet me and live happily ever after. My favorite part of the book.
This is interesting. I want to say something to you guys. I'll conclude it with this. I didn't bring it up earlier, but I wrote it down thinking maybe I'll bring it up, so I will. Ray and I had on-location events lined up for the first 3 months of this year. This is real interesting. This is an example of how guidance steps in and moves you out of the way so that you get out of harm's way. I want you guys to pay attention to this. And when something happens and you think it worked against you, write it in Part 3 of your journal so you can see it later, because you can't see it when you're in it. And neither could we. Let me explain this to you real quick. On December 14th of 2019, we had a live event where I was on location in Phoenix. And we do these live events, and then most of the people that attend actually attend through the live streaming because they can't come to Phoenix, you know. So most of them attended through live streaming, which was fine. And at this one event, Ray fell down and hurt himself really bad. We spent 3 hours in the emergency room after the event. Ray hung in there through the event, which blew me away. Okay, he wasn't going to let me down.
The show must go on.
I love this guy. Okay, but it was. Oh, okay. So we got through the event and took Ray to the emergency room, to the hospital. He was getting stitched up. Oh, what a mess this was. And we had 3 more events, January, February, and April, lined up. And when we went about, you know, Ray was still banged up real bad and hurting, and you know, a lot of pain on pain pills and everything. And we went to set up the event for January. We couldn't get anybody to help us. Everything was working against us. All right. And Ray was still had this pain. I had to cancel that event in January. But not only did I cancel that one, I canceled all of the on-location events that we had booked up for those 3 months. And I sat back and I went, wow. The guides came through and said, we did this. This was not an accident that Ray had in December. This was a wake-up call. You guys are not supposed to do these on location because no one will be showing up. And I went, really? They said they'll show up for the online streaming, but they won't show up on location. And I was like, why? And they said, you'll see. Now this was
early January.
Early January when I first canceled them, and I said, oh my God. And then this whole thing shows up. What my point is the guidance. It doesn't always feel convenient, like it's right, like, you know, what's going on here? But it's always looking out for you. You can't see it when you're in it. Write it in your journal so that once a couple weeks goes by, right, like what happened with us, you look back and all of a sudden there's this coronavirus and, you know, all these events. By the way, events are being canceled around the world. They had here's just a big example of it. In Milan, they had their big fashion show that they do each year. Big. It's the biggest thing.
Fashion Week.
It's like the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl of skinny models.
Of the fashion industry. And the fashion, they still put it on. They were going to put it on. Okay, this is not what Ray and I pulled back. Okay, but they put that thing on anyway. Guess who showed up? Nobody. Nobody showed up. So here they are on the runway, all set up, spent all this money and effort to do this. They were determined to do it, and nobody showed up. That's what you're going to see. You might even say, well, I'm going to go anyway. I'm going to go on that vacation anyway. I'm going to go to that event anyway. No one's going to be there. There'll be no one there. All right. So it's like you got to learn how to, and they told us, do your webinars, but don't do them on location. Do them only through live streaming. That's what you're going to see us do. We're going to be doing that around the middle of next month. You're going to see our first one roll out. That's going to help you guys master this thing. Master it. Don't fight it. Don't be like Milan, where they put this big production on and no one showed up. All right? Don't fight this thing because you won't win at it. You've got to roll with it. You've got to become more from it. You've got to let the stress go and go with the flow that fits your life and make those changes and adapt. Okay? That's what this is about. It's about becoming a better you. It's about living the life you came here to live. It's about not struggling anymore and suffering anymore. All right? All right. I love this, okay? Now, I don't want to see people hurt, but I do see why it's necessary to get us to wake up. All right.
Rarely is guidance convenient. The real guidance, the true guidance.
Yeah. In what happened with Ray and I, we both couldn't see it. I felt guilty about, stopping it because I didn't want to let anybody down, but it was obvious coming at us in spades. Time, stop this, stop already. We're doing something the wrong way. And it turns out within, a couple of weeks, this all exploded about this coronavirus
right.
thing. And even if we put it on, guess what? People weren't going to show up. And that's what they told us, but they didn't tell us why. Yeah. All right? So these coaching sessions are powerful. They come through and they will point out where you're off track and get you back onto true north. So you're not guessing your life away. All right? Okay.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week.
We will. Next month. See you next month.
Next month and next week.
Right.
You have help. That's what next week is about.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.